We're certainly seeing a considerable drop in salmon numbers returning from the sea, and that's of great concern, and in fact many people are seeing that as a salmon crisis. And much of the work that we're doing here will help to at least protect the salmon in the river.
The Rivers Trust looks after the 3 catchments of the Findhorn, LNER and Lossie rivers and the wildlife that inhabits them. With changing temperatures due to climate change, the water is getting really hot, and that's unhospitable to salmon in the summer months, but also if the water is too warm in the winter, that also is poor for egg development. So what we're trying to do to mitigate this issue is develop more native woodland along our river banks of the tributaries to help shade the water during summertime and lower the water temperatures.
The LNER funding's allowed us to set up a monitoring system using temperature loggers in each of our rivers, which will give us some very valuable data how temperatures are changing. But it's also allowed us to connect with the community through doing training programs as we see here today.
Try and avoid kicking towards the net because you'll just fill it with stones.
Today we've got a group of volunteers from the local area who are getting trained in identifying invertebrates which we find in our local rivers. There are certain invertebrates that we look for which indicate that the river's in good condition.
We're also commissioning some researchers and residents who are helping us explore the kind of cultural heritage to better understand kind of from the Gaelic place names, but also from the stories and songs that were from this landscape, what flora and fauna maybe used to be more prevalent.
There's just such a wonderfully rich tradition in Gaelic song of celebrating the natural world, and many of them are beautifully descriptive of natural places.
They speak of aspen and alder and pine and hazel, and we have words for copses and groves and hollows, and it gives you a really sort of detailed understanding of how the landscape was at one time.
There's a really rich cultural memory of a time when these places were far more ecologically diverse, so there were more people and the biodiversity was higher, and that allows us to imagine how these places could be once again in the future.
Pick up the smaller ones and just rinse them in the net.
I'm a salmon fisher. I've always been interested in the lives of whatever's in the river. I've always been involved in that, in nature, so yeah, it's very keen to me, so I'm glad to be involved in it.
I think it's vital. I think our children really need to be taught this. It's so important. The damage of what we're doing is crazy, so yeah, I think it's very vital to protect it.
It's important that people learn to recognise that the river on their doorstep is an important area, and it's a production area for fish and invertebrates and other wildlife. And that's really important because that sort of connection with the rivers has been lost over the last few generations.